Chihuahua. Yeah.
Number 9. If you read the instruction, if you read the instructions, number 9, everybody should have their holy books open at this point. We there? Somebody please read the instruction on number 9. It tells you what to do, right? It says solve the following exponential equations by taking the log base 10 of both sides. Right? So let's do that. 9a. 9a has 10 to the x is 320. That's the problem, right? Well, Michael Jackson, do you remember the time, because it's also in your book, where we said x squared? Okay, thank you. Where we said the log base 10, we don't have a base, it's base 10, right? Of 10 to anything is just that thing, right? Because the question is, what power of 10 will give me 10 to the r? Well, that power has to be r to get 10 to the r. Okay? We know this property. So now, all they're asking us to do is to use the principle of equality. We talked about that yesterday. Whatever you do to one side, you do to all sides. So this thing should become the log is 10 of 10 to the x squared. This equals to the log is 10 of 320. Right? So now we apply this property from here. Our answer should be our exponent. So then we got x squared is equals to the log of 320. Any questions so far? We all good? So I have x squared, but I need x. What should I do? Square root. Am I done? You gotta do both sides, right? Again, whatever you do to one side. So x is plus or minus the square root of the log of 320. Remember we said every time we take the square root of a number, we get two possibilities, right? That's it. If we really want to show off, we could try to find out what's the log of 320. We have a table, right? We got a table that we've used already. So 320 is just 32 times 10. What's the log of 10? 1. Yep. Yep. And then we can put 32 into some numbers times some number and then spread them out. But for now, this is okay. This is what it needs. Are we all good now? Let's do B, because I still see people shaking their head. So let's do B. 10 to the x over 8 is 300. 9b. 10 to the x over 8 is equals to 300. again, the instruction said we should log both sides, right? So let's do that. There's a lot of people that should be writing right now that aren't writing. You're gonna come back later and go, I'm lost, but you got no notes. Good. So again, using that Michael Jackson drop, that Michael Jackson moment, right? Remember the time, log base 10 of 10 to something is just something. So x over 8 is equals to the log of 3 times 100. 300 is 3 times 100, right? Correct? All right. Because of the multiplication, we've learned that we can break it up into addition, right? Let me check if you still remember. What is the log of 100? 2. Because 10 squared is 2, right? We know what the log of 3 is from our table, but we don't remember that, it's fine. So forth. I got x divided by 8 is equals to something. How do I solve for x? Multiply by 8, right? Because it's a division. So you just show up at the doctor and you say you got a division problem, or they need to give you some medication. That would be multiplication to get rid of your division problem. Okay? So x is equals to 8 times the log of 3 plus 8 times 2. Because this 8 gets distributed to everything in here, right? To this piece and to this piece. Now that you're seeing A and B, can we do the rest of those now? Yes? We should try to. So C real quick, everybody do C. Take a minute, 35 seconds and do C. I see a few people already did that at home. That's fine. For those of you who were lost, here is your chance to show me. Do C, please. You could, yeah, so the log of 400 is 4 times 100, right? Yeah. Well, yeah, 4 times 100. 100 is 2, right? So it's just a log of 4. So it's 2, right? So this would be 2. This would be log of 4, right? Log of 4 plus 2, because this is 4 raised to 3, right? Are we good? Somebody got an answer for me? It's gonna take all this time to do it, man. I said, do math. You
No, that's
Oh, okay. Let me see what you got for me today. What you do some more? Everything was going for you. Yeah. That'd be the least.
but I'll line up like 3.
Hmm? That's how you do that by 3. Right? You got stuck on the easiest thing, man. That's how you make me get credibility for doing nothing. All right, who got an answer? All right, whatever she said. Somebody else got another answer? Nobody else got an answer? Another one, whatever he said. Anybody got a different answer besides what she says and what he says? Nobody else did it besides these two? So I know you all got different answers. Going once. Okay. The problem is, then to the 3x is equal to 400. So just like before, we're taking the log of both sides. Right? So now the log base 10 of 10 to some power is just that power. So our power here is 3x. And 400 is 4 times 100, right? So we're just following the same pattern here from the 300 piece. So 3x is equals to the log of 4 plus the log of 100. And you told me before the log of 100 was 2, right? 3x is the log of 4 plus 2. All right? Now what? Divide by 3. Or, like Ms. Will I am said, which is going to do, because a division by 3 is also a multiplication by a third. Right? Very simple. Any question? Are we all good now?
No plus minus.
No, because we're not taking a square root. We're good? So you should be able to finish those things that you didn't finish, right? Okay. Number 10. It says we should solve. So we're doing the same thing you did in 11, right? So 10 to the power of x is equals to 3. So number 10a got 10a says we should solve this thing. So every time we're solving for an exponent, we're introducing a log, okay? So just like we did with number 9, except now they want explicit in their instructions. This is what we do. So I have the log of 10 to the x is equals to the log of 3. Right? So what is the result from this side? Just x, right? So x is equals to that's it. Whatever the log of 3 is, that is x. Anybody remember the value of the log of 3 from our table? 0.48. Questions? So I need you all to solve problem B. 10B says 10 to the y is equals to 30. Solve for y. Everybody please. Solve for y. Problem B. Following the example of problem A, solve problem B for y. We got an answer? Bobblehead, if you already have an answer. Okay, those of you who didn't bobblehead, you need at least 5 more seconds. All right, hurry up. That's how people don't get done when we're taking tests. So while those people are doing that, retakes, retake for the last assessment starts today, and it ends next week on Tuesday. Well, we'll make it Wednesday, because usually I'm not available on Tuesdays to meet after school. I'm gonna be at the other campus today at 3:15. Okay, I was hoping to be at 3 o'clock, but I got a meeting here immediately after school that's going to last till 3:05, and I'm guessing I'm going to have to drive to get over there about 10 minutes. So at 3:15 today, I'll be at the other campus in the 6th grade math classroom. So when you get out there, just tell them you came to see Goya. You can come for extra help, or you can come to do the retake. Either way, I'm going to be there. We're good? All right. Now, we got an answer? Let me hear you. We got an answer they're comfortable with that haven't spoken yet in my room today. Come on. What you got? Yeah? Okay. Anybody else got an answer different from that? Speak now. We all got this? How many of you got stuck? Bobblehead. Where'd you get stuck? So I can know where to bring the tow truck. Where'd you get stuck?
I don't know how to explain it.
All right, let me see. Oh, well, okay. So here's where he got stuck. Taking this off the board. He did this, 10 to the y is the log of 30. He logged both sides. And then he had y is equals to the log of 3 plus the log of 10, because 30 is 3 times 10, and he got stuck. So now we can bring in the tow truck. What should we do here? The log of 10 is what? 1. Okay? Because we're asking what power of 10 gives me 10, this is 1. So that side we got the log of 3 plus 1, which is 1.48, right? Questions? Anybody with a question? So then, when we solve C, C says the log of x is 300. So, what do we think C is supposed to be now? How do we solve for C? Anybody? Do we see a pattern here? What should the answer for C be? The log of 3 plus 2. Okay. Right? Log of 3 plus 1. Why are we having plus 0, plus 1, and plus 2? Why? Anybody see a reason? Yeah, because if we look here, we started with 3, we went to 30, that's a multiplication by 10, right? And the log of 10 is 1, right? So this was a multiplication of 10 to the 0, a multiplication by 10 to the 1, and this one is a multiplication by 10 to the, see that? So there should be z is equals to the log of 3 plus 2. The reason I wanted all these three things to be on the board is because of question D. Question D says, use the properties of logarithm to justify why x, y, and z form an arithmetic sequence with a difference of 1. Here it is. Y is just equals to x plus 1, right? Because this is x. See that? Z is equals to x plus 2. So the common difference is just adding 1. And that's what she saw and said, oh, this is plus 1, that's plus 2. And so if I have, for example, 10 to the t is equals to, what would t be? The log of 3 plus, see the pattern? She's adding 1 every time, because that's what they have. Anybody with a question? All right. So let's look at number 11, because you're a little bit behind. Let's look at number 11. Number 11 says, without using your external brains, without using calculators, we should try to explain, right, why the value of x will be between 1 and 2. Let's try to explain that. Let's look at 11a. 11a, it says 11, this is crazy. They started with 11 and they started with 11. Right? So 11 to the x is equals to 12. They want us to explain why x has to be a number bigger than 1 but less than 2. So it has to be between 1 and 2, like a 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1, 2, 1.5, 1.6, 7, 8, 1.9, right? It can be anywhere between that, right? Gangsta rap, right? Black Pop, LIB Records. So, you figure it out? What is it? You say 1.2? Why? But, all right, he's on the path, but I don't know where he got it 11.2 from. I mean 1.2. My man saw it, but he's just having a little problem with explaining it right. But I see the role you on. So here's what we're doing. 11 to the 0 power is 1. It's way smaller than 12, right? 11 to the 1 power is 11. That's almost 12, but not 12. Right? 11 squared is what? 121, way more than 12. So somehow it has to be between 1 and 2. It's not 1 because 11 to the 1 is 11. And we're looking for 12, right? And it's not 2 because 11 squared is 121. So somewhere between 1 and 2, the actual answer lies. We see that? So that's like trying to find out how reasonable your answer is. If you had this problem and you solve it and you got x is equals to 3, you should automatically note that you had a mistake because you're looking at 11 and 12. They're pretty close. So to have an exponent of 11 to give me 12, I can't be 2 because that will give me 120. You see that? So another way to write this is to say, well, 11 to the 1 is less than 12, right? Correct? 11 squared is bigger than 12. So therefore, 12 is between 1 and 2. 11 to the 1 to 11 to the 2. X has to be between that, right? Because that's what 12 is between these two. You see that? Let's look at another one. 21 to the x. What's 21 to the 1 power? And that is less than 30, right? And 21 squared is a very big number, right? That's way bigger than 30, right? So we can say, therefore, or by the, usually when I do these 3 dot triangles, I mean therefore. Okay? 21 is less than 30, but 30 is less than 21 squared. So 30, so the power x is between 1 and 2, whatever that power is. And then you'll find that power in number 4. We good? So I'm trying to catch you up. If you're gonna slack off a little bit on me. Number 12 is what your cousins are doing today for homework, and that's gonna be your homework. Now we just solve it. In number 11, we wanted to say why it will have to be between 1 and 2. Now in number 12, find the exact value. Find that value. So let's do 12a, and I'm going to leave you alone to do some work. So 12a. Remember, everything we did in number 9 and number 10, we just logged both sides, right? So we have the log of 11 to the x is equals to the log of 12. Now, if this was 10 to the x, our answer would just be x, right? But it's not. So there's another property that we know that says the log of x3r is equals to r times the log of x, right? So here's our r. So x times the log of 11 is equals to whatever the log of 12 is. How do I solve for x? So x is equals to the log of 12 divided by the log of 11. Anybody with magic fingers that have a calculator? What do we have? It should be 1 point something. Because we say it's between 1 and 2. So I already know I'm expecting a 1 point something. 1 point what? If you do logs, or you just do 11 divided by 12 divided by 11? Do log. Because it can be close to 9, right? Because that would be close to 2. If it's 1.9, it's close to 2, it can be 1.036? Yeah, because they said we should have that to the thousandth place, right? So there's 3 decimal places. So 1.036. I see that? Anybody with a question? So number 12 is your work. Please try to go back to number 9 and 10, the ones you didn't finish and the ones you had wrong, to try to correct them. Because usually when you take a test, you get to use those. And if you're not doing it, it kind of sucks if you're on testing day. That's right, you don't be finishing, right? We're good? All right, Black Bot, out.